Welcome to my channel at Bunny Hollow Crafts. This is the third day of Christmas in July, and we are going to start making a blank mini album. I just cut my chipboard for the newest album. It's going to be 4 pages, and with a 4-page album you need a 3-inch spine, given that I'm going to put a 1/2 inch between each of my pages. So a 3-inch spine that's 8.5 long, and these are 8.5 by 8.5. Okay, so let's just build the cover first for this mini album. You're going to need 3 pieces of 65-pound cardstock. I'm going to take one of them and put tape on both ends, if I can find it. Make sure I'm doing this right. I just did it wrong a second ago. You want them to go this way, so the tape goes on this side, the long side. Okay, so I'm going to put a piece of tape on both ends. That way I can just join one page down there and one page down here. And then we'll have enough length to cover our chipboard. Okay, I'm going to take a break and find my glasses. Glasses on will make a huge difference. Looky there, it's pretty straight. Okay. Alrighty, so with the pokey tool, just peel back your tape a little bit. This does not have to be precise. We're going to have more space than we need. Actually, it goes this. No, it goes this way. It goes this way towards paper. My brain is it just doesn't work correctly all the time. So you just want to line them up pretty straight. Doesn't really, it's not going to matter. You're going to have extra. So turn this one around. Tape goes to the inside. We just learned that. And put this one on. Okay, and pull your tape. Okay. Well, that one didn't go very smooth. Let's work that out. Okay, work that out. Okay, that's a good save right there. All right. Yeah, that's nice and smooth. Okay. All right, so let's put our chipboards on. What I'm going to do, I like to glue mine. We're just going to lay them out like this, sort of. Not glue, put score tape on mine. So I'm going to break and do that, and then I'll come right back. All right, so you want to place your chipboards on here. Just do a little trial run, try to sort of get them centered top to bottom, side to side. And, I'm just going to leave these here while I put this one down. This one, as I always say, does not have to be persnickety, because it is from this one that these will be laid down. And so whatever this one is sets the tone for the way the thing will go. But it doesn't really matter. You're going to have plenty of extra space. So just take your tape off. If any's hanging over, just push it back. Okay? And just lay it down. Get it top to bottom. I left those there kind of just as a guide. I'm just going to lay it down. Okay? Move those out. Okay, burnish that down real well. And I pull off this menagerie of tapes. All right, tape is all exposed, so be careful. I always come in at an angle. I just think it's helpful. You want to lay it not a quarter and more than 1/8 and not a quarter. I just always guesstimate. I'd rather be further than too close. That looks good to me. I'm going to lay it down. I can unstick my hand. Okay. And I'm sorry the table shakes. This is an IKEA table that's on tall legs because I prefer to stand. And sometimes it shakes. I don't know why. There's no wheels on the table. They're just solid legs. There I go, pulling off closest to me. I'm telling you, if you do it down here, it just works out better. See, your finger moves back every time. I just don't remember these things. Okay. So again, coming in from the corner, or cut from this at an angle from the side, And just getting it where you think. And laying it down. And I like using the score tape. Sometimes the glue will, like if you saw my previous one and you saw the red paper and you could see the lines through it, apparently art glitter glue and the red Christmas paper does not go together. But once you cover that with your pattern paper, you're fine. But sometimes it'll leave, the raised marks back here. I don't like that. You'd be covering it up, of course, with pattern paper, but let's see. That looks about an inch. See how it's not square? But it won't matter. And that's all based off of the middle one. I tried to get straight, but I didn't. I'm not going to cut anything. It won't matter. Okay, I'm going to bend it up. Start teaching the paper what it's got to do. This is just how I do my albums. And I always use 65 pound. It's a little less likely to crack on you because it has a little more give to it. Okay, where is my little, here it is. I love this for this. And I like to work my papers before I ever do anything else to them. They just seem to react better when they've had a little practice with their bending. Turn it this way. And it's long, but it's not hard. Okay, and then this side. Okay. All right, I'm gonna cut this after all. I just don't want to waste tape. Okay, and this one I'll do it too. Just a little bit. And see, I got wonky there. It won't matter. You're going to cover it up. So nothing, I mean, you can fix everything, right? All right, so now I want my score tape, which has vanished. Here it is. We'll try this one. And first I'm gonna cut my corners. I always forget that because you don't want to tape over the corners and then have to cut away and waste your tape. So let me see, I hope I'm in frame. You want to stay about 1/8 of an inch away. Doesn't matter if you curve it, if you whatever it's going to be covered up. It'll give you pretty corners. I promise. We're going to fold these in and just don't sweat over it. Okay, throw that away. Now we can put on our tapes. Okay, now I need an angle on that. That's why the first one had the diagonal cut. All right. So this is where that 1-inch tape would come in handy, but I just ran out. So let me put tape all the way around and then I will get back with you before we put it together. Let me find in my angles. You don't want to watch this. All right, all the tape is on. Just burnishing it down. When you do that, one, it sticks better to the paper, but two, it's easier to get off if you've burnished it really well. All right, so I always like to start with my long sides first. You pull off my tape. Good, and yank it all off. Okay, glue I put right up against the chipboard, if it'll come out. come on. I just used you an hour ago. Hold up. Okay. That was weird. So right up against the chipboard. And then I like to come up in the corner just in case I didn't get the tape all the way to the corner. Okay, now, I don't know if this will all be in frame, but I like to take this tool, and since I have that glue right beside the chipboard, I like to roll that tool down, and it's sort of, if you just go slow and gentle, it just helps a lot, I find. Okay, and then start in the middle and just put it down and then work your way to the ends. And if the glue comes out, that's actually a good thing. It means it got where it was supposed to go. And you had extra, but that's okay. Okay. All right, do the other long end the same way. Okay, glue right along the chipboard, up the corner, kind of in there where there's no tape. Okay, and turn it. And since we did all that pre-folding, it's just ready. And it just goes very easily. So from the middle, work your way out. Got glue on my fingers again. And there, it wrinkled on me. Why'd you do that? Straighten out. Okay, all good. The glue go. Okay, let's do the ends. First, you want to bend in your corners. You just want to take your thumb and just sort of bend them in. Flatten it down, bend them in. Bend it in. Okay? Take off your tapes. Glue. Okay, the little tool. You could also do this with the little Cricut thing. It works. Okay, and just push it down. I can see the glue already, but I don't mind it. I kind of like it. I know it got all the way to the edge when it comes out. Okay, and we have pretty corners. Okay, let's do this side. Again, we'll just push in corners. Flatten it down. Okay, peel your tapes. And glue. Tool. I love making albums, I really do. I think I just love paper in general. Okay. Clean my hands up. Next thing we're going to do is take our, take the bigger ball, and you want to kind of feel where that is, and kind of gently. It looks like but I'm not. I'm going very easy, kind of like with the X-Acto knife. Simple, light passes, more effective than one hard one. Okay, and then just kind of, there we go. No cracking, no nothing. It is beautiful. Okay, so now, next thing I would do is cover all of this, just to tidy it up on the inside. So let me cut some papers. Okay, I'm going to put these on with glue. I took 8.5 by 11 and just cut it down to a little bit shorter than the 8.5, so that we'd have the height. And this one is 6 inches. And I'm going to put it in the middle. And so being just a little less than 8.5, it's a nice tight fit. I just burnish it down well. And these are the same 8.5 off a little, and they're 8 inches. And these just tidy everything up. Okay, we need to find our bending points, which you can, if you turn it up, you can sort of see where it is, and then you can kind of feel for it. And again, just gently. Just gently. It's even easier this time to poke through because you just got paper, you know, so just gentle. And that one, get my head in here. There it is. Okay, I like to take my Tim Holtz ruler with that slanted edge and put it kind of in that crevice and just slowly bend up. I'll do the same over here. Okay, and there's our album cover ready for a hinge. So let's do that. Okay, I'm going to have to voice over here. I didn't want to, but these are 2 pieces of 8.5 by 11, and these are going to be for the hinge, and I'm going to cut them to just slightly less than 7 3/4. Okay, and 2 because you need the length. So put it in your scoreboard, and let me try to explain my thinking on this. My hands know what they're doing, but my mouth and my head did not. So the first thing I'm going to do is make a mark at 2.5. And that is just the space needed to attach it to the cover. So after that starting point, your first gusset, you need a gusset before your first page. That's a 1/2 inch. Now I'm going to scoot over and I'm deciding to go 3/4 high for my hinges. I think the higher the hinge, you just have a little more space for your page to fit on securely. So I'm just measuring over 3/4 inch. And you need 2 segments that are both 3/4 because you need 2 little segments to glue together to make your hinge. So that'll be your first page. So after those 2 3/4, you need a 1/2 inch for your gusset. Then you start on your 3/4 again, and then you need a 1/2 inch for your gusset. This is in between pages. And when you do your page again, you got to go over 3/4. And you just keep on with that method until you get to the end. Getting to the end of the paper is not bad. It's okay. These things always end up wonky. But I'm just continuing that pattern of a 1/2 and then 2 3/4, a 1/2 and 2 3/4. And then when you get down to the end, I ended up having a 1/2 inch left over. These things are always a little crazy, but I counted up and we actually have 4 of the 2 3/4 segments, so 4 pages. So all I'm going to do is glue that final 1/2 inch to this other piece of paper just to give us room to put it into the book actually. So I'm not going over the score line, but just right up to it and just gluing those together. I'm going to put it back in my scoreboard on an even number, and just from that 1/2 inch that was left over, that'll be the gusset. I'm going to go over 2.5 inches, and that's simply a cutting line. So I'll pull in my my trimmer and just cut it at that line. And that's as simple as it is for building the hinge. I wish I could have talked through this with my head, but anyway, what we're going to do now is fold up those 3/4 inch segments. Okay, so it's like building mountains. You just those two together, then you skip your little 1/2 inch, you go to your next 2 segments that are 3/4 and fold those. Fold them down. There's your next gusset, your next set of 2 3/4. Fold those. It's very simple. I wish my brain could have spoken well about it when I was videoing, but I call it a hinge, a gusset, and a gusset, a hinge, and that could be confusing. So I hope this makes sense. There they are. Now we're going to turn it over and put score tape on the bottom. You just put your score tape on, and then we're going to fold these together. Just watch, it'll be very clear, I think. And they just come together really easily. And I love building the hinge, and I love watching it fold together, because you've folded it so many ways that it just bends up easily. So the last one, you're putting the tape actually between the 2 mountains, if you want to call it that. So when you take your tapes off, because these things have been pre-folded so much, you just peel your tape and it just folds right into place. It's just a very nice thing. Just burnish it down, take off your next tape, and fold in the next one. They just come together like puzzle pieces fitting together. So you just continue in that fashion until you're finished, and then we will glue it into the book. I want this thing, if your hinge comes loose, your pages come out. As simple as that. And I don't want that. All right. So I think tape, and I'll put a little glue on it too. I mean, why not? A little insurance. My tapes aren't, especially this one's not straight, but it will not matter. Now that I get close to the end, I'm going to go to the end so that I make sure that this one is right on the edge. And I'm not going to have room for this width tape. So I'm going to go back to this white one. It's almost done, and let it be done. I never do albums this way. I always start with the pages. But decided to do it a little differently and start this way today. Okay, our album, there it is. You have these 2 score marks that I made. Even though I made that one, it's a good thing I did, because that's a guide to you. You want to put this score mark and this score mark in between your 2 bending lines, right? Just want to get it in the middle. And since we made it 7 3/4, you've got room. You want to get it in the middle as good as you can. But you know what I mean. Just, you've got extra space. So just guesstimate, there's a bending line and there's a bending line. I think I'm going to move it down just a little bit. Just want your pages, these hinges, to be right square in the middle of this. I think that looks pretty good. There's fuzz on here or something. Okay, I'm gonna hold it like that. So I think that's good top to bottom and side to side. I'm gonna put my arm over it. I'm gonna pull this up. And I'm gonna take off one of these tapes, if I can do it with my finger. Awesome. I haven't moved. Well, I did move just a little. Recheck myself. Okay, fussing too much. Straight, I'm laying it down. Okay, now, sorry, I don't mean to be fussy. I just was born that way, I guess. Peel off your tapes. Boy, I do like this wide tape for this. Pokey tool. And hold it up. I was doing this one time and I dropped it. It went in the right position, actually. But be careful on that last one. That's where it wants to fall. Okay, I've got it. Now you just want to kind of pull her up and just let it come down. Okay? Very simple. Run your fingers in between your gussets, burnish that hinge down to the paper. We need to score over top of the hinge so that we can bend. And then we'll make pages. So nice, easy. Bring in my ruler. There we go, and ruler. Okay, and don't bend it more than here. It doesn't need to go that far. Okay, so those are sort of centered. I always struggle. There's a little more space there than there. But in the end of the game, it won't matter. It'll just give you more room on this page to build like a waterfall or something right there. 1/2 inch is plenty of space between pages.